to the Senate Minute, a weekly podcast to help inform Hoosiers about the Indiana General Assembly and stay engaged in the legislative process. This is Callahan coming to you from the Senate Majority Communications Office. One issue that's come up in the Indiana General Assembly this session is the ambiguity of foster parents' rights. To address this issue, Senator Ford authored Senate Enrolled Act 233, which would develop and update a statement of the rights and responsibilities of a foster parent. This week we had the opportunity to interview Senator Ford to learn more about the bill. So thank you for meeting with me today, Senator Ford, and discussing Senate Enrolled Act 233. My first question for you is how and when was the issue regarding foster parents' right brought to your attention?
So for the past few years, myself and Senator Grooms have been talking with foster care parents from all over the state. And we brought him in this summer again to talk to him. And really what was clear was the lack of communication between DCS and foster care parents. And a lot of frustration on the foster parents from their point of view. So originally my bill was to lay out the rights, about 23 to 28 of them. But then the more and more I thought about it, I took out the rights and just made the bill that they had to sit down and talk with each other and bring in experts to develop the rights. I think it's twofold. One, we want to get the rights for the foster parents and for them to know about the rights, but then also to work with DCS on their relationship.
Okay. So is this a statewide foster parents Bill of Rights, and when do you expect the Bill of Rights to be formed?
Yeah, it is a state Bill of Rights that the Department of Child Services will, part of the bill is to get it out onto the internet and then out to foster parents or potential foster parents. I would guess, this summer they'll get the committee together, and then hopefully by the end of the year they'll have rights published and on the internet.
So this bill passed both chambers unanimously. Is this a testament to how necessary outlining their rights are?
Yeah, I think, obviously this session we've had a lot of questions about DCS and foster kids and foster parents. So I think, they all saw this as, a lot of my colleagues saw this as, a way of fixing some of the problems, because all of my colleagues here, one way or another, some issues with DCS and foster care parents.
And what does the feedback from your constituents look like?
The feedback has been great. They all support it. They all like the idea of it. I've been in touch with a lot of foster care parents in my area, and it's been good to talk with them.
Great. So what rights do people feel like are restricted with the current, what's currently in place?
Sure. So what we would hear a lot about are these foster parents would receive a kid and they would not get any of their educational history, medical history, behavioral history, and so really put the foster parent in a bad spot, because they would take them to schools, and the schools wouldn't know necessarily what grade the kid was in, where he should be. So those to me are some of the basic rights that if you're going to take care of a kid, you should be able to know some of the past history. You don't need to know the situation per se of why that kid was put into DCS, but you do need to know their history.
So you believe this bill and the fact that it will create a foster parents Bill of Rights, you think that will clear up some of those ambiguities?
I do. I think it will clear it up. I think it will help keep foster parents in the system. I think it will help with recruiting, because you'll have a document that everyone will be able to see. So everybody will be on the same page and working together.
All right. Well, thank you for meeting with me today, Senator Ford. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. This bill passed both chambers unanimously and awaits the approval of the governor. Remember, you can track the progress of this bill and others by going to www.iga.in.gov and use the search bar in the top right-hand corner. You can subscribe to the Senate Minute on your Apple Podcasts app or listen at IndianaSenateRepublicans.com. Just click on the Media tab and then click on the podcast button. For the Senate Majority Communications Office, this is Callahan. Have a great week.